Hello, this is Mrs. Freilich, and I'm going to be going over the timeline for week 3. The week 3 timeline. First, let's go over the first 2 dates that we've learned and then add the third timeline date. The first date was 476 CE, Western Roman Empire collapsed. Next, 534 CE, Justinian the Great sponsored his law code for Byzantine Empire. And now, we have 543 CE, India's golden age ended with Gupta dynasty. 543 CE, India's golden age ended with Gupta dynasty. So here were the notable rulers of India's golden age, which was during the Gupta dynasty. We have Chandragupta I from 320 to 335 CE. He was their first emperor and he conquered neighboring states around them. The next ruler from 335 to 375 CE was Samudragupta the Great. Samudragupta created coins of pure gold, which are pictured right here. And he also led them on conquests and expanded their empire. He was called the Napoleon of India. Next, from 375 to 414 CE, we have Chandragupta II, and he expanded the empire all the way to the Arabian Sea. So a golden age is when there's a time of peace. Obviously, these rulers are fighting to expand their territory, but the people at home are enjoying the plunders of war. They're wealthy, they're able to create art, and their empire is large and thriving. So during their golden age, their agriculture was flourishing. You can see all the beautiful green area here and the waterways. All of this contributed to their wonderful agricultural growth. They were also trading with those around them to the west and the east, and trade was going well for them. The end of the Golden Age happened when the Hephthalites invaded. Now, the Hephthalites are also called the White Huns. So you can just think about the Huns and what we know about Attila the Hun and how savage and ruthless they were, and think about how they came and they overtook the Gupta dynasty, and the empire began to decline. So the last ruler of the Gupta dynasty was Kumaragupta, and he was ruling from 414 or 15 to 455. And the empire began to decline at that time, and then it fully ended in 543. Some of the really wonderful things that were taking place in India during this time were the army was very well trained. It was doing well. They had a lot of cavalry. They were using horses and expanding out. During the golden age of India, they also were playing chess. And their chess is called Chaturanga. And Chaturanga is pictured right up here in the corner. You can see it looks a little bit different from the chess that we play nowadays. They also had a lot of advances in medicine, mathematics, astronomy, and poetry. Because remember, during a golden age, there are a lot of people able to do the things they love. It's not a time of struggle. It's not a time of poverty. It's not a time of famine. It's a time of plenty and a time where people can do the things that they enjoy. So this guy here, he proposed the round earth theory, and I'm just going to get the proper pronunciation of his name here. Aryabhata. Aryabhata. He was a famous Indian mathematician and astronomer. And he lived from 476 to 550 CE, and he proposed the round earth theory in India. So this had already happened in the Middle East by Pythagoras, the Greek, in 500 BC. So Pythagoras was the first person that we know of that proposed the round earth theory, Pythagoras the Greek, in 500 BC. But in India, they were a little bit removed from what was happening in the Mediterranean. And so for them, the first person to propose the round earth theory was their own mathematician and astronomer named Aryabhata. So there were also some very great poets and dramatists and writers during India's golden age. We have Kalidasa or Kalidas. He was the greatest poet and dramatist, and he's over here at the left. And then we have a story called Mahabharata and Ramayana, and those are two major epics written in India during this time by Vyasa and Valmiki. So Vyasa and Valmiki were wonderful writers, and they wrote Mahabharata and Ramayana, two epics. So just like we have Gilgamesh, which is an epic poem that we studied last year, India has its own epic stories. During the Golden Age, there was a balance between Hinduism, which is represented by this red symbol here, and Buddhism, which is represented by this statue in a meditation pose. So that means that the two religions existed at the same time in India, and people of both religions were able to get along. So the Gupta Empire is considered the golden age of India, and the location is the Gonja Valley. You can see right here up in this map that the Gonja Valley was very fertile. There was plenty of rivers. And during this picture here, you can see the water running through and the mountains surrounding. So when somebody has mountains surrounded by rivers, they have a wonderful place to plant and create crops. Plus, they have a lot of protection from the mountains around them. So when the Huns invaded, the Huns had to come over these mountains in order to invade. This video is about the Ajunta caves, which were a Buddhist cave monument created during the Gupta dynasty. And it is a very beautiful place. And as you can see, it is carved right into the rock here. And I'm going to play it and make it a little bigger so that we can see how beautiful it is. So the water would run right through here. We have beautiful mountains, and the Buddhist monuments are carved right into the hillside here. And you can see that people are walking among the pillars. It's just right into the rock. And it was created around 500 BC. So it's just amazing the knowledge and the abilities that they had to create such beautiful architecture during that time. It tells us that our ancestors, the people that came before us, they were smart. They knew how to do plenty of things. They weren't lacking in any way. We have a lot to learn from them. They were brilliant and very artistic. Look at the structure and just all the detail in these carvings. And when we go inside, you can see the pillars and just how beautiful everything must have been. I mean, this is showing up for us now, but it was built way in the past. So as you can see, there's scuff marks and things that are missing and holes, and it seems a little bit incomplete. But I'm sure that back then it was a lot more grand than it is now. I'm just going to skip ahead here and see if there's anything we haven't seen. We've seen the front structure. We've seen some of the inside. This is one of the murals that they had inside on the wall. And you can see that the paint is chipping away, but it was very colorful. And up here you can see those figures. So taking a tour of the Ajunta Caves is a wonderful idea. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this short video on our third timeline date. Have a great day. Thank you.